Alright, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to watch something here I've never seen before. What makes her garden grow? Wouldn't you like to know? It's called Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice. Let's check it out. Our movie starts with a funeral. And this is the widow. Turns out her husband doesn't have a lot left.
I can't even remember all the names.
Mrs. Marable, there are no assets, only liabilities.
No one.
He did leave her a stamp collection.
Signature on these.
Nothing. Mr. Rentley, all I have left is my personal savings account.
That ought to help.
To live on for the rest of my life.
Well, it's something to keep you going for a while.
It won't last any time at all. Pick that up, would you?
This is her sometime later with her housekeeper. It's an interesting turn of events. Now she's moved to Tucson.
When they bring the tree, huh?
Oh, the nursery delivers in the late afternoon, but as you know, I like to attend to it myself.
You have a very green thumb.
This is her new housekeeper.
I know it doesn't seem much to you, but it represents my savings, practically all of it.
It was at your request, my dear Miss.
Her broker has invested housekeeper's money. Remember that hole in the ground for a tree? Sensing a pattern here. So that's her plan. She kills her housekeepers, takes their money, and invests it. Now she's burning all of her housekeeper's belongings, except the Bible.
She's got so much money that somebody has to keep a watchful eye over her.
Paid and abet them.
Well, I clearly believe in the underdog, don't you?
Wait till the underdog starts building across the road.
Mrs. Dimmick,
That's Ruth Gordon.
I hope you will be very happy here.
She plays Alice, the new housekeeper. But Alice, the new housekeeper, is snooping around a bit, and she discovers that Bible.
Mrs. Dimmick!
Does she know something?
Then we can keep her, Harriet. You will do nothing of the kind, and if the dog is so misfortunate as to appear again, you will not encourage her to stay.
She's not friendly with her neighbors
I think
either.
that was an order, Mrs. Marable.
Jim!
Now Alice picks up the mail for Claire, and she sees a piece of mail that was addressed to Edna. That was the previous housekeeper who got the shovel in the hole.
Oh, I should have told the mailman there's no one here by that name.
She tries to kill the dog, but she doesn't succeed.
Is that why you got rid of her?
No, it was her devotion to alcohol.
Men.
Oh, at her age.
I'm not sure if she's trying to poison Claire or what exactly she's doing here.
With the knife, I letters to her.
But she doesn't eat her pheasant.
Well, if you're not afraid, why don't you eat your pheasant?
Lost my appetite.
I've had it with the blank postcards and this whole damn mystery bit. You're getting out of here and going home with me right now. You can't go on playing this part.
Oh, I haven't been found out yet, and I won't be if you don't give me away.
You don't have the strength.
Well, of course I didn't mean the things I said, but say them I did. I'm not going to give up until I find out where she is. My instincts tell me something happened to her here.
She withdrew $9,000 on March 5th.
Yes, she took out the entire amount in cash.
You have her latest boarding address?
Yeah, it's right here on the card. Care of Marrow, Route 3, Tucson.
So the housekeeper, they find out, took out all her money.
George recommends.
Now
Don't
maybe
you have a stockbroker in Chicago, too?
she's going to invest also.
Would you be willing to speak to him about me? I'd like to invest my money.
How much, Mrs. Dimick?
Well, $46,000.
Suddenly Claire is interested.
Yeah, and I'm out of toothpaste. I know you don't like to lend yours.
I want to leave first thing in the morning, Mrs. Dimick, without delay.
Do you mind if I drive into town now? The new market has both nylons and toothpaste.
So Alice said she had to go out to get some toothpaste before they go on this little trip to New Mexico. And while Claire is snooping, she sees that Alice doesn't need toothpaste. She also discovers that she doesn't need any nylons. And then she found a letter, and she compared the signature to that of the one that came in the mail for the previous housekeeper.
You did holler the lie. So did you. Edna never left this house. Did she?
What was Edna Tinsley to you?
For many, many years, she lived in my house. Crazy!
When you left the house this afternoon, you went to meet someone, didn't you? That girl across the way.
How many women have you killed?
Well, they get into a struggle, and Alice gets knocked out with the phone.
I'm surprised she got her way.
She thought that was Alice driving away, but it's Claire dressed up as Alice. Alice isn't dead yet. But she's gonna be dead now.
I'm afraid this is going to come as quite a shock to you. Mrs. Dimmock was found in your car. It went off the dirt road into the lake.
Now, the woman and the nephew who own that dog that she doesn't like live across the way from her. She's going to get them. She's going to drug them too. And when they're knocked out from some poisoned eggnog, she starts their place on fire. She truly is a wicked woman. She's even going to trap the dog inside. But the next day, it turns out they were rescued before they could die. Her hole where the body is has been dug up.
My house. This is my land.
And the police are there.
Says I gotta return this even though you gave it to me to keep.
Remember the stamp collection?
These stamps are worth a whole lot. Mr. Darrow says they're worth over $100,000.
Little did she know. All right, let's talk about whatever happened to Aunt Alice. Not to be confused with whatever happened to Babe Jane. This is a movie that I think at the beginning of the review I said I hadn't seen before, but actually I had seen it. I recorded this off of like Encore or one of those movie channels back in the early 2000s. Watched it and I didn't remember a damn thing about it. Even after watching it again, nothing rang a bell. So anyway, what we have here is a 1969 thriller horror movie about a woman, this woman named Claire, whose husband dies, and she lives in a kind of like a mansion, but it turns out when her husband died, he left no assets whatsoever, so she's like broke, doesn't know what to do. Well, she has a housekeeper. She ends up killing the housekeeper after taking her money. She said she was going to invest the money for her with her own broker, so she killed the housekeeper and got rid of her. Later on, she moves to Tucson and gets a smaller place down there. She has a housekeeper there as well. Same thing happens. She kills her second housekeeper. Well, so she gets a third housekeeper. This one's played by Ruth Gordon. She plays Alice. Turns out Alice is kind of undercover. She had some sort of relationship with the previous housekeeper. Kind of hinted they were like a lesbian couple, but I don't know. But anyway, So she's there kind of spying to see if she can figure out what happened to her friend. And she eventually she finds the friend's Bible, and she suddenly thinks that Claire, this woman here, may have killed her, which obviously we know she did. Well, eventually Claire, who's kind of like a mean little battle axe, she's not the friendliest of people, she does some snooping herself and finds out that Ruth Gordon is onto her, and she finds out who Ruth Gordon is. They confront each other about it. And Ruth Gordon basically says, well, you're not going to get me. And then she tries to run out of the house. She gets chased. They get into a struggle. And Claire knocks her out with a phone. And then she takes her and goes out to this lake and just puts the car in the lake and drowns her. End of story there. So anyway, and then she also has this run-in with these neighbors who have this dog. This woman and her nephew live together. And then she starts their house on fire and leaves them for dead. The next day, though, we find out that they actually got out. They survived. And there was all of her graves in the yard where she buried the previous housekeeper had been dug up. She'd been discovered. The police were there. Turns out her husband, who had died, had this stamp collection. It's all basically all that he had left. Turns out it was worth $100,000. She never knew about it, and that's it. So anyway, presumably she gets arrested, and that's the end of the movie. So anyway, not a bad little flick here. I don't know if I've ever seen any Geraldine Page movies before. She was a pretty well-known actress, as was Ruth Gordon, obviously, from Harold and Maude and My Bodyguard, which I reviewed recently, as well as the Any Which Way You Can, Every Which Way But Loose movies. So, but anyway, it's a good little thriller. I like this. 1969. It recently got a Blu-ray release from Kino Lorber. That's where this DVD comes from as well. So I do recommend it. So anyway, let me know if you've seen this thing. It's called Whatever Happened to Aunt Alice. Leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it. Bye.